host of the Gridiron.
Now, talking about the way the Giants, if they're not bringing Pinnock back, right? We're going to need somebody back there. Now, I mean, unless they're in love with Javarius Owens or maybe Belton or something like that, I don't really know. But they got Nubin, right? They got Mr. Nubin, but the Giants definitely going to need to partake in the safety pool, whether it's free agent or draft. There's a couple nice ones in the draft, that's for sure. Especially there's one in the first round, right? But once again, Shane and Dable should just turn their pink slips in if they draft the safety with number 3 overall, right? Yeah, I don't think the guy's Troy Polamalu or nothing like that. But if the Giants don't wind up going after Pinnock, right? It seemed like he maybe was not used. Because obviously you had Wink Martindale, and then you got Bowen, right? You got the two different coordinators, the two different ways they have guys play out in their different schemes and all and everything. And Pinnock, it was almost like a Karake kind of thing, right? I mean, a Karake had 300 tackles the year before with Wink. This year it was kind of like. He had some tackles, but it was nowhere near as much as what he had with Wink. Same thing with Pinnock. Pinnock seemed to be he got more results with Wink than he did with Bowen. So it seems like I'm not sure. Was Bowen really putting all his players in the best position to be successful? Don't know. But. So the best New York Giants free agent options at safety. So will the Giants look to the NFL draft or free agency to address their need at safety this NFL offseason? It can be interesting. The New York Giants safety room snap count in 2024 was taken up almost entirely by basically 3 guys, right? Pinnock, Nubin, and Belton. Pinnock is a pending unrestricted free agent who, although matching his total tackles to his 2023 amount of 85, had something of a down year as he struggled with adjusting to defensive coordinator Shane Bowen's scheme. Now, once again, sometimes, things like that happen. Sometimes, right, you get the second season, you guys are a little more familiar with the scheme, right, knows what's more expected of him. Maybe it could be also could be the combo package, right? Right, you got a player who, with a new scheme, doesn't quite gel yet, but maybe the second season becomes more familiar, understands the concepts better, what's they demand upon him, right? But also goes both ways. It's kind of like Bowen. Well, it's like we didn't quite get as much as we want out of him. Maybe let me do a little bit of adjusting, right? So maybe get this guy more involved, right? But there's a good chance that Pinnock won't be back, right? Pinnock was especially vulnerable in deep zone coverage. Although he was fundamentally sound, his lack of movement skills and instincts were brutally exposed. Pinnock wasn't deployed as much as a blitzer, which is his strength of his. And this disconnect between how Bowen deployed him and how he was deployed in the more aggressive Wink Martindale scheme likely means the two sides are headed for a split. I mean, it's a shame. I mean, it's like, the guy was decent with Wink, but it's like he didn't do that great with Bowen. And it's like, we just can't use you anymore. It's like, well, yeah. Then the thing is, it's like, well, what happens if after this season we wind up stinking and they get rid of everybody, and then now we don't have the coach, and now we don't have Pinnock, and we're not, who prove that he could be good. Oh my God. Let's see. Nubin looked strong in his rookie season, more so because of his physicality than his coverage skills. He was constantly tough and fast to the ball, tackled hard, and turned into a big physical type who could fill holes and stop running backs dead in their tracks. If he can improve his coverage, where before his season-ending ankle injury, he had just one pass breakup and 0 interceptions, the Giants will have something there. Belton is a reliable run defender who has had his fair share of struggles in coverage. He's likely a better third safety than the starter option, as he has had difficulties in coverage against tight ends despite reacting well in the deep zone. Belton's tackling and physicality seemed to improve the more he played, and this year, a contract year, will be a big one for him to show that he can overcome a lack of foot speed and agility, which has kept him from becoming a starter. In short, yes, the Giants can use new faces at this spot. So now they go the best options. Now, once again, this is in free agency. It's interesting how the Giants don't want to spend on Xavier McKinney last year. But this year, given how thin the safety draft class is, they might have to open up the wallet to get a good safety, a position that isn't a premium position in the defense, but yet appears to be a need. Javon Holland from the Dolphins. For most of his young NFL career, Holland has been one of the best safeties, and while there is a slight dip in his production in 2024, that isn't a huge concern. There is a question as to whether the Dolphins plan to tag Holland now, who is arguably the best safety about to hit the market and who, per Spot Track, has a projected market of $15 million annually. Early indications are that the Dolphins don't plan to tag Holland, who would cost Miami $19.6 million on the franchise tag. That's expensive. And Julian Blackmon of the Colts. The other safety I would target in free agency would be Julian Blackmon from the Colts. He has an estimated market value of $8 million per season. 3 years, $24 million. Blackmon was named one of the 11 best safeties before the start of the 2024 season by Doug Farrar of USA Today's Touchdown Wire, who ranked the Colts safety 10th on his list. Before 2024, Blackmon had dealt with injuries that had kept him from playing a full season. Now, that's one of those things is that, Giants have had problems with injuries. I'm not sure if the Giants want to bring in somebody, even if he's kind of on the cheap, who's had some problems with injuries. That's the last thing the Giants want to do is bring somebody who's had, injury problems, right? Now we got draft, the guys in the draft. While I'm not a huge fan of the safety class in this year's draft, some options could compete for early playtime. Billy Bowman, Jr. of Oklahoma. Bowman is a prospect I connect to the Giants due to his ability to play deep safety, allowing Newman to play a more versatile role in defense. Bowman has a solid football IQ and makes it a point to be around the ball as much as possible, mainly when it is in the air. Hunter Wohler of Wisconsin. Wohler's skill set would make him better suited to line up wherever he is needed, allowing the Giants to experiment with more disguised coverages. Wohler finished as the Badgers' team leader in tackles last season, earning honorable mention All Big Ten. He is more comfortable coming into the box and banging around against running backs and tight ends. Then there's also here, right? Did it say the line back up here? Well, all right, here we go. All right, see, position safeties. Now, there's a guy from Georgia, Starks, right? He's supposed to be really, really good, Starks. Now, PFF has Starks as the 6th highest ranked player, period, coming out of in the draft. 6th. He's a safety. So, yeah, it's pretty good. But the Giants draft that running back from Boise State. They draft Starks with a safety with number. I don't know. Just sell the franchise, right? So that's not going to happen. But, right, there's Xavier Watts from Notre Dame. Let's see. Then there's Castro from Iowa. There's Winston Jr. from Penn State. Oh, this guy here is supposed to be really, really good. Amanawari from South Carolina. And then there's Ransom from Ohio State. So that, and then Mukuba from Texas. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This PFF has 7 guys in the top 101. Other top ranked guys coming out in the draft. 7 are safeties. Right? But Starks is the only one in the first round, given that, he's number 6 overall. Xavier Watts graded out at 89.7 last year. He was a 6th best graded safety from Notre Dame. They got him number 42, which may put him at a 2nd round grade on him, I guess, right? So there's a safety in the first round, right? There's Watts, would be a 2nd round. Then there's, I said, 1, 2, 3. There's like 4 or 5 guys, right? Possibly the Giants could maybe want to take in the 3rd round if they were going to go with the safety. But the Giants, regardless, definitely. I mean, you can't go with Javarius Owens, right? Belton. I know they have. Then another guy, I can't remember his name, was on the practice squad. And Nubin. And lose Pinnock. You have to definitely bring somebody in. No question. I mean, they'll be bringing guys in, right? But I mean, whether it's somebody in off the streets or if they're hitting it heavy, in the draft. I mean, look what they did, right? Landon Collins, 2nd round pick. Xavier McKinney, 2nd round pick. Tyler Nubin, 2nd round pick. So, what was it? Right, Collins, right? 2015, right? 2nd round pick. So he's figuring in the last 10 drafts, right? Going back to 2015 to 2024, those 10 drafts, the Giants in the 2nd round have taken a safety 3 times, and everyone's been fantastic. Now, it's just, once again, it's just mind-boggling, right? That if the Giants were to go out and, in free agency and spend some money on, what was it? Was it Holland? Was it Holland? Yeah, because they're going to bring in Julian Blackmon from the Colts, who has injury history. But yeah, Holland. Yeah, so it would just be a little mind-boggling if the Giants were going to go out in free agency and bring in Holland, the safety. Okay, well, if they're going to pay him $15 million, why don't we just keep Xavier McKinney for $17 million? Xavier McKinney, I think, was still 24 years old. He's just a baby. So I mean, it's just things like that. Just, I don't know. Just drive you freaking bananas. But but the Giants, regardless, are definitely going to have to. We got a lot of needs, a lot of holes, a lot of needs, but safety, of course, is one of them. So, but the Giants have done well in this, as I said, in this past. The thing is, right, of course, is that the 3 guys that got taken, right, the 3 safeties that got taken in the 2nd round, right, in 2015, and then McKinney and all of that, they're all by different GMs. You got Reese, right, took Collins, right, Gettleman, right, took McKinney, and then you got Shane, took Nubin. So, regardless of that, the Giants have had success taking safeties in the 2nd round. So, but that's if they don't bring Pinnock back, that's certainly one of the positions that they're going to need to do, is either in free agency or in the draft. That's for sure.